For those who don't know about this particular entry, this sentence should be warning enough for you. In a franchise with 36 films, you're bound to run into one or two that just cause a divide in the fan base. Son of Godzilla, I have noticed, does kind of become a hit or miss for some, but All Monsters Attack, or its American title, Godzilla's Revenge, is a standout, highly nominated as the worst film in the series. Cheap? Most assuredly. But I honestly don't think it deserves worst Godzilla movie ever. I'll cover those reasons a little later down the line. While the sins are very easy to see, I think the story vehicle here is an important subject to talk about, especially with the fact that we're covering a game that primarily takes place in one's mind. I am, of course, referring to imagination. To be a good dungeon master, one thing that is a wonderful tool is the power of imagination. Going into your own head and not only describing what everything may look like, but act like, smell like, and even feel like, and what it is you might be surrounded by. Help your players get immersed into the story just as much as you are. There are many other skills I think that are important, but imagination is definitely key, especially if you're playing Theater of the Mind. Alright, well with that, let's see what the Theater of the Mind looks like for our protagonist Ichiro in... The movie begins with a precursor to the next movie in the form of some lyrics. And with a boy named Ichiro, a latchkey kid from the city. He likes collecting random scraps, avoiding the local children's gang to just dodge out on an ass whooping, hanging out with the next door neighbor / toy inventor / caretaker, Shinpei, getting milk drunk and dreaming of going to Monster Island on a trans-American flight. You know, all things kids nowadays are still doing. Even in his own dreams, Ichiro can't quite seem to catch a break. Kid isn't boots down on Monster Island for more than a minute and he gets chased down by Kamacuras. However, thanks to dream logic, he's able to fall down a hole and land just fine. A mysterious rope comes and helps to pull him up. It's Minya, who's way smaller and talking now. Sure, yeah, it's a dream, I suppose, but let's just run with this. Minya talks about his woes to Ichiro and mentions he's getting bullied by a hairless blue cat with a mohawk named Gabra. Strange, that's the name of Ichiro's bully. The cogs. They're turning. After his weird little heart-to-heart, Shinpei wakes up Ichiro to let him know that his mom's not coming home tonight, and invites him over for dinner to help cheer him up. Unable to get back to Monster Island, we are reintroduced to the bullies who chase Ichiro into an abandoned factory. Wandering around and getting lost in all the cool finds, tubes, headsets, someone's wallet. He's then drawn out of the building by some cop cars that are passing by and he heads home. The owner of the wallet actually belongs to these two. I'm fairly certain these crooks are actually unnamed. They also stole 50,000 yen off screen. Don't worry about it. It's just something they did. They're the bad guys. They're the Wet Bandits. Attempting to land a guest spot on How to Catch a Predator, they stalk Ichiro home. After a food coma provided by his neighbor, we're back on Monster Island, and it's off to the races as Ichiro gets chased down by the monster Gabra. After the chase, we bump back into Minya again, and we discover that being the son of a radioactive monster isn't all it's cracked up to be. Oh yes, this is where we get into the stock footage. Yeah, this whole segment is just reused footage from Gabera and Son of Godzilla, which is why it might look a little familiar to you. Gabra makes a reappearance and wants to wrestle with Minya. Well, it doesn't go too well for Minya. A strategic retreat is called, and more stock footage is called in. This time it's the Red Bamboo Jets. But it's about time for Ichiro to get himself kidnapped by the bandits that take him to the factory, and decide that they're going to take Ichiro with them. Not too bright, are they? Anyway, it's been a few minutes. We need to head back to Monster Island. No matter the level of peril Ichiro may be in at the time, damn it. Speaking of peril and danger, Gabra is turning Minya into cookie dough. He's holding him down with his electric attack and giving him a fist to the face. Like, ow. I felt that. Can we get that one more time, please? Thank you. Getting a shot of his atomic breath off, Minya is able to take this opportunity to bob and weave. But oh man, Gabra's gonna get it now. Godzilla rolls in on the scene and holy crap, he sends Minya back in? Does he need to benefit from the instant replay? Because I've got it right here. When it's clear Minya is outmatched, that's when he steps in. Taking this chance, Minya meets up with Ichiro and they devise a plan on how to launch Gabra into the sky. Fortunately, this plan goes off without a hitch, but he's not done yet. He actually goes and takes a bite right into Godzilla's leg and pretty much signs his own dance card as Godzilla proceeds to whoop this bully's ass. Shockingly, the electricity Gabra is able to put out stuns Godzilla, but he remembers the monkey. Godzilla wills himself out and throws Gabra in the same fashion over the shoulder. Tail between his legs, or lack thereof, Gabra limps off into the sunset, never to be seen again. Like, we literally never see this character again in the entire series. That's some ass whooping. Anyway, it's time to cut back to the real world and deal with real world issues, where things are shipping up for the bandits as they get their getaway car. However, taking what he's learned from Minya and Godzilla, Ichiro outwits the bandits and I'm fairly certain fractures one's leg. Dude, don't fuck with Ichiro. You'll end up in a cast. Hold on. Did this dude just trip over a box on a flat surface? No wonder Ichiro won out in the end. Our story ends with Mom coming home, regretting her life choices, Shinpei explaining that children see monsters as actual gods to look up to, and Ichiro learning to stand up for himself, and bullies everywhere, until he then becomes one himself, to earn the admiration of the people who were bullying him just a few minutes ago. Well, I guess that old Nolan phrase is true. You either die a hero, or you live an hour and a half long and become a villain. With its skewed moral compass and finance issues aside, this movie covers essentially what is the real world for the first time in the series. It even kind of makes sense why we have the stock footage. This is all in Ichiro's mind. He's seen the movies and he loves them like I do. And he's kind of a lonely kid, and his imagination is a great place to escape and work out his feelings where he is in his life. Is this a masterclass feature? Hell no. Top 10? Not even close. But it's got heart, ingenuity, and fun, and I think that keeps it from being the worst Godzilla movie in the franchise. As an additional note, we got a fun new monster to stat, so let's get into that. Well, it shouldn't require any imagination who's on deck today. Gabra. This one is tough because Gabra is a unique creature. His bumpy skin, his overall appearance, nothing matches directly with any monsters in Dungeons & Dragons. However, Wikipedia gave me some inspiration when they called him an ogre, but that's not quite how ogres work in D&D. They come with weapons, axes, clubs, and we never see him do that. However, his hulking physique and blue color, I made a trip over to some unpleasant kind of toady boys. Meet the Slotty on page 274 of the Monster Manual. I won't go into their lore, but they are very fun and fascinating if you ever get the chance to read them. Anyway, the blue Slotty here is a pretty angry dude, and he fits the look we're looking for the most part. If you want him to look exactly like Gabra, you gotta get your salt and pepper shaker out and add some flavor my DMs. We're gonna hit him with the usual size and siege upgrade. I'm thinking that 120 HP and that 15 AC just really don't work well for what we see on film. The guy's able to go up against Godzilla, so we're gonna go ahead and give him the death slot on the next page for a boost. 18 AC and about 170 HP. Not a great big hike, but it's not nothing. About the only takeaway is the conditions of the claw attack, and we just make it straight damage. When Minya gets popped, there's no additional problems that occur. We should also give him innate spellcasting like we gave Hong, and give him the same shocking grasp ability. I also like this regeneration. It explains how he's able to come back and recoup after getting tossed. The magical resistance would also help against their flame attacks. Unfortunately, there's not too much to be done with this guy. Again, he's kind of just here to get beat up on. Alright guys, you know this is normally the portion of the video? I almost said movie. You know this is the portion of the video where I usually suggest how best to plop this monster into an existing game. But in the spirit of D&D, and oddly enough this movie, I'm gonna let you imagine for yourself. Where do you see this creature posing a threat? What does it represent to someone like Ichiro in the real world? Bullying perhaps? What does it do? Is it in the mountains? Is it in the jungles? Is it causing problems for everyone? Everyone watching, let me know how you'd use something like Gabera. Let me hear that imagination! Alright folks, that's my time. Sorry it's a little bit shorter than usual, but I hope you still enjoyed yourselves. Let me know what you thought with the comments, the bell ringing, the thumbs up, you know, the usuals. Next video, we cover the environmentally friendly classic in an entry that's kind of akin to Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I am of course referring to Godzilla vs. Hedorah, or its American title, Godzilla vs. the Smog Monster. Thank you for watching, and be sure to take care of yourselves out there, folks.